Hello, welcome to Bourbon and a Baby. My name is Jay. Max is not going to be joining us today because Max kept me up until 7:15 a.m. last night, and because of that, he is banned from the show, and also he's taking a nap right now. So I'm jumping on the You Only Need 5 Bourbons bandwagon. Or You Only Need 5 Whiskeys. To me, they're all going to be bourbon because this is a bourbon-focused channel. So I'm going to stick to that realm for that. But so this challenge has been going around on YouTube forever. Well, at least 6 months or so. Almost every single WhiskeyTube channel has done it. I have not, because I am never the first or the second or the third or the fourth to do anything. So I am always one of the last people to do something. So I'm finally stepping in and I'm giving you my list of the 5 bourbons you need, the only 5 bourbons you need, according to Reddit. So again, a little bit more context if you have never seen one of these videos before. A Redditor made a comment on Reddit in our bourbon about you really only need 5 whiskeys at one time, and then you're good to go. A lot of people have disagreed with that, especially here in the WhiskeyTube community, because one thing we like to do is tout all the bourbons or whiskeys we have, right? But it's also kind of a fun list to go through. So there's 5 categories, and the first category is a daily drinker. So everybody kind of has a different level of what a daily drinker is to them. A lot of people that might be dependent on price. Other people just something that they just really love and will drink it as often as possible, regardless of price. I kind of like to factor in both. So I'm not necessarily looking for the cheapest thing when I look for my daily drinker, but also I don't want it to be too expensive, because let's face it, I can't afford to be drinking expensive bourbons every single day. So my daily drinker is kind of a nice mix. It's one that I really, really enjoy drinking, and it's not super expensive. It comes in around 40 bucks. And that is Russell's Reserve 10-year. So this is the small batch Russell's Reserve. What I like about this, made by Wild Turkey, it's 10 years old. So to get a 10-year-old bourbon at that $30 to $40 range, it can vary depending, is incredible. It's an incredible price for a 10-year-old product. I mean, some places are charging that much for a 4-year-old product. So you're getting a 10-year-old product. You're getting a really delicious drinker. This is always the perfect combination of spicy and sweet. You can really taste the rye in there, but you can also really taste the caramel and the vanilla. And it was one of the first bourbons that I just really latched onto and really loved, and it's kind of kept that place in my heart ever since. There's not too many things coming out of Wild Turkey that I don't like, and this is one of my favorites. It's 90 proof, is that right? Yeah, 90 proof, so it's not gonna kick you in the teeth. It's kind of that perfect daily drinker. You can drink it at almost any occasion. It's not too low where it's 80 and proof down. It's not too high where you don't want to drink it if you have to drive home or anything like that. So it really is, to me, the perfect daily drinker. And category number 2 is something to impress your guests. And this can vary a lot too, depending on who your guests are, right? So the way I kind of try to look at this is maybe you're not inviting over somebody that's super crazy into bourbon like you might be yourself. So you're just trying to impress the average bourbon drinker, or maybe even non-bourbon drinkers, or people you might be trying to get into bourbon. So to impress my guests, I'm going to say I'm going to pull out anything that comes in a box. So that can vary. Again, you can say, hey, look, I've got this Maker's Mark 101 in this nice cardboard box. Look at this. Ooh, and it's got fancy wax drip going down it. Super impressive, right? You can say, look at this. I've got this nice Jack Daniel's single barrel store pick that comes in a cardboard box. And on top of that, if you can pull it out, it's got this like Mr. T-esque Quentin Rampage Jackson chain on it telling you what pick it is. If that's not impressive enough, you can say, look, I have here Colonel E.H. Taylor in a tin. Look at that coolness. How awesome is that? Or, for bonus points, the fancier the box, the more impressive it's going to be. So you can say, look at this. I have this here Booker's. It's a wood box. This lifts up. This bottle comes out. It says Booker's on the side of it. It has Booker No on the back of it. I mean, who isn't going to be impressed by this bad boy? You could even be like, listen, I've got this nice fancy, almost looks cooler than the Booker's box. Basically the same thing, but it's more black. It's called Little Book. This is slides up, Freddie No, Chapter 1. Who's not going to be impressed by that? Then you can be like, well, look at this box. I've got to move these other boxes just to show you how cool this box is. It opens up like that and has this super fancy bottle inside, Wild Turkey Master's Keep. Any bourbon in a box, bonus points for the fancier the box. Impress your guests. Category number 3 is that you should always have a cheap mixer. So sometimes you just feel like a bourbon and ginger ale. Sometimes you just feel like a bourbon and Coke or whatever. I like to mix bourbon and lemonade in the summer. But you don't want to be mixing an expensive or even in a lot of cases a mid-priced bourbon in there because, you know, costs matter, at least to some of us here. So for me, I'm going to give you 3 options for this one category because my first 2 options aren't always widely available depending on where you live in the United States or anywhere else. But my first, probably my number 1, is going to be j.t.s. Brown, bottled in bond. This is a $10 bottle of bourbon coming from Heaven Hill Distillery. It's 4 years old. It's 100 proof. And, you know, it's pretty good. Personally, I don't like to drink it neat, but in a mix, it's perfect. There's no better $10 bourbon in the world, in my opinion. The bad news about j.t.s. Brown Bottled in Bond is that I know I can't get it here in Ohio. It's something I have to get if I go down to Kentucky. I think it's in a couple other states, but it's not widely available. So another one, I'm going to go up about $3 or $4. This is my favorite $13 or $14 bottle, and that is Heaven Hill Green Label. This is 6 years old, 90 proof, 13 or 14 bucks, and this one I will sip neat. I will drink on the rocks, and it's great as a mixer. Definitely my favorite value bourbon. But again, last I checked, I think it's only available in Kentucky, maybe 1 or 2 other states. But so if you don't live in the area or go through it very often, you're out of luck. But if you do go through Kentucky, stock up on these because, again, 13 bucks, you can't beat it. So that leaves my third option for your cheap mixer. This one is much more readily available, and again, comes from Heaven Hill Distillery, as the other 2 do, and that is Evan Williams Bottled in Bond, the white label. As you can see, I've done a lot of damage to this. Again, this is one you can drink neat. This is one you can drink on the rocks. This is one that's great for mixing. This one will cost you $15, $16, maybe $17. But it's a great value. It's 100 proof, 4 years old. You can't go wrong with Evan Williams Bottled in Bond as your cheap mixer. Our fourth category is a Friday night pour. And what I take that to mean is a Friday night pour is it's been a long week. I've just recently coming out of a long week myself. And so it's Friday, your work week's over hopefully. And you just need something to throw back that is just going to help you forget how terrible that week has been. So I'm going to look for something that, 1, I enjoy drinking, and 2, is pretty high proof. So that is going to come in with Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, it's becoming more difficult to find, unfortunately, but it's still one of the best values in bourbon. Usually comes in your 130 proof range, somewhere give or take a little bit. Released 3 times a year. Used to come in right at that $60 range. The last time I saw it on the shelf, just about a month ago, it was raised to $70, which I still think is a good value, but I really loved it at that $60 price. But Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, lots of flavor. It's big, it's bold. Even though this one in particular is 130.6 proof, you would never guess that. It definitely drinks hot, and you can tell that it's high proof, but it doesn't like blow your face off. So you'd be amazed at how easily this drinks for 130.6 proof. Friday night pour, no better way to end your crappy work week than with Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. All right, so that's going to bring us to number 5, our 5th and last category for You Only Need 5 Bourbons. And this one is your special occasion bottle. So what are you holding back that you're just going to drink on a special occasion? This one was a little bit tough for me because I'm not a collector. I buy bourbon to drink it. But there's definitely ones that I don't want to just drink all of right away. Those are going to be the ones that are either harder to get, or maybe they've got a special story behind it. So for me, and this calls back to one of the earliest videos I made on this channel, called the Keepsake Bourbon. So when Max was born, I purchased a bottle that I'm not going to open until he turns 21, and the goal is that we're going to drink that together. Father and son, on his 21st birthday, or at least soon thereafter. So for me, that I wanted to pick something, one that was somewhat of a special release, and also is kind of significant to around the time that he was born. So for me, I chose a Booker's, and this was the release that came out around the time he was born. This is the 2019-01 Booker's. What is it? Teresa's batch? Yeah, Teresa's batch. You can see I've got this great label on it that says, do not open until March 16th, 2040. So we have a few years to go until we can open this. But on March 16th, 2040, hopefully Max and I will be opening this bottle and enjoying a pour together. All right, so there you have it. That was my list. You only need 5 bourbons, according to Reddit. Matt Porter, also known as the world's top whiskey taster, also known as ADHD Whiskey, recently has done a remix of this challenge and has created his own 5 categories. So look for my video. Follow-up will be the updated version, the part 2, the remix. That'll be coming out soon after this one, so be sure to check that out. Thanks a lot for watching. Please give this a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments below. What do you think of my list? Do you agree with any of them? Do you disagree? Let me know your list. You can also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Max and I would love that so much if you did. And you can follow Max and myself on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We're at Bourbon and a Baby on all of those platforms. And finally, if you're interested in some Bourbon and a Baby merchandise, you can purchase some at our shop on Spreadshirt. That link's in the description below. Thanks a lot for watching.